Hey, what's up? It is Adam, and it is Spotlight time. Yes, I am playing Boros, and I am playing red. Tonight, working on just doing kind of a quick deck tech with this, and starting to work on this deck. I'm actually really excited about this one, more excited than I was with my other one. What was my other one? The Captain N dude. Just because that was more of like a switcheroo. This one's just a completely new deck. And I think it's going to be actually quite fun because so it's Duke Ulder Ravengard, as you see here. The cool thing about this guy is, yeah, he's a high casting cost, but the cool thing is you can play a lot of stuff like ETB stuff is kind of where I'm going at with this. Or there's certain things that if they hit, they do things. So the thing is you're casting stuff throughout the game. You're getting your ETB effects. And then once you get Duke out later, because the thing is it happens on your first combat. He doesn't have to attack. You're picking something else. It gains haste and myriad, and they can attack, and you get all the ETB triggers. So there's a couple of these that are pretty sweet. There's some legendary stuff, so I'll kind of go over that. So really what the gist is, what we're going to do here is go over the cards that I have in here. So as you can see, this is 170 cards I have in here, and this also includes lands. I'm going to cut things as I go a little bit, ones that I know I want to get rid of. I'm a little under the weather, so that was kind of... I went out to dinner, and I got a little cold of some sort, so it's straining on my throat right now. And we have another podcast on Friday, so in 2 days. So I don't want to be too long with this because I might lose my voice by Friday. So... but let's get through this right now. The reason why... So, Duke, it's 6 to come out, like I mentioned what it does. But the reason why we're starting with this Planeswalker, Ajani, I like this guy a lot because with the life gain. And I started adding in life gain late. And so then Ajani kind of made it in here because there's some cool stuff that you have in here that when they enter and you gain a lot of life, if you're making 3 copies of it, or if you have one out already, and you're making the other 3, some of these will gain you 30 plus life in one swing. So let's go through this all. So Ajani, that's the main thing here is I'm hoping that I have 15 or more life. And that's one of my kind of game winners because I'm going to eliminate. I'm going to drink a lot of water here because, like I said, my throat it's actually really hurting. It didn't start hurting until we just started this. So, all right, so let's get to it. Basically a shit ton of, it's because it's like a cyclonic rift. Yeah, but it wins you the game is the difference. Like it's almost guaranteed. Not cutting that. Okay, so Aerial Extortionist. This is off of the new Capenna commander decks. When it enters the battlefield, deals damage to a player, exile 1 target non-land permanent. For as long as this card remains exiled, its owner can cast it. Whenever another player casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. So there's a couple things with this. Is one, you get the ETB trigger. You can exile their card. Okay, so the thing is it doesn't say for as long as this is on the battlefield. Remains exiled, its owner can cast it. So they can still cast it, but they got to recast whatever you're playing. So if you're attacking with this, and then you make it the myriad thing, what it will do is you'll create the 3, exile, 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 and even though those tokens are going away, those still remain exiled. They have to cast them to get those back. And then the other part of it is, I can do it to my own stuff. So if I wanted to do ETB stuff for other things, I can exile them and then cast them again if I want to try to get that ETB trigger. So this seems like it'd be pretty fun in this. And the cool thing is, again, well, actually I should look with all the cards I have here because you are saying too much mana at this point. This should be really high. So just over 3 with all of this stuff in there right now before I even do any cuts. So we'll see where we get at the end. I definitely like this card because there's not only the ETB effect, but then also if it deals damage to a player, that's the other part I should mention. So imagine Christmas magic. You attack, you make 3 copies, exile, exile, exile. let's say no one has flyers, or maybe 2 out of the 3 has flyers. They hit, exile, exile, exile again, and it's not of that same player. You can exile somebody that already blocked it. So this could exile a lot of things. And so I think for 5, that's really good. This is awesome for removal, or at least hindering them, because then it's not getting rid of it. They still have to cast it, but it really can level the playing field. And the thing is if they're going to be killed, like somebody's going to be killing your stuff, or if you want to get through, you can exile the things that would be normally blocking this. So I think this thing's going to be sweet. Let's move on. Ancient Copper Dragon. I don't even own this yet, so we'll see how this goes if I even keep this in here, because I don't know if I want to spend. Right now it says $60, but I do want to get it. So obviously, if I make, the nice thing about these Elder Dragons, they're not legendary, and if you make the 3 copies, it won't, kill the other 3. So if these hit and you get a shit ton of treasures, I'm down for that. Same with Ancient Gold Dragon. You're creating that many fairy flying 1/1s. Dig it. That has a lot of creatures coming into play. You got 2 of them, Ramsey, you lucky bastard. Although I didn't really open much. We only had the battle boxes, and I opened a fat pack. So and my chances of getting it, I heard that the chances of getting those were really low. So Angel of Destiny. This one seems pretty sweet. So this is where life gain started to like trickle into my head a little bit. Now there is something interesting to this. I did check on a rules thing here. I'll go over that in a second. So it has flying double strike, and whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. So it's any of my creatures. It's not just this guy doing damage. It's any of the creatures. Why was I getting confused with? Was this the one I checked on? Maybe it wasn't this one. Oh yeah. This is where I checked on it, because what I was thinking was at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life or more starting life, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. So my thought was that would be sweet. Oh yeah, I guess I should give you that, Ramsey. Good for your dragon. But so what my thought was, even though you're attacking with 3, 4 of them, let's say we have 3 other players out, and you're attacking with 3 of them, the other 2 go away, and if you have 15 life or more, and you attacked those players, I was like, well, then it should really make them lose the game, because it is talking about Angel of Destiny. The problem is it says that if you, each player, the Angel of Destiny attacked, it'd only be the initial attacker. So the angel that wasn't the copy. So whatever player that was, that would be the only player that loses the game. Still, really, really good. With the life gain added in this, and potentially you pick the player that doesn't have the flyer. If you have 15 life or more, you're wiping that player out, and you kind of move on, go to the next player. So I think this is a really good card. Good ETBs, has the double strike, so you're hitting twice. You don't care if they're gaining the life as much. I think this is going to actually be a pretty sweet card. I almost went Angel a little bit, because I have a lot of Angel, so I was like maybe Angel Tribal, but I steered away with that here in a little bit. Once I got, look at that. You see how many creatures I have in here? I have 90. It's not going to stay that way, but I have 90. All right, Angel of Renewal. This is a lot, but 6 to come out. When it enters, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. So my thought was, well, if I'm already playing a lot of creatures out, even if, let's just say these were the ones that I gained the life off of, it's 6. It might be too much. This might be a card that's gone. Yeah, it's gone. But here, let me point it out, though. You got the one that I have that comes in. You at least, let's say you have Duke out, because this is how you're making the copies. So you attack. It makes 2 more of the copies. Tapped and attacking. That creates 2. So you're gaining 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gaining 8 life off of the 2 attacking. But for 6 and a 4/4, I think that's too much. So we will get rid of that guy. Angel of Serenity. This is a lot. 7. When it enters the battlefield, exile up to 3 other target creatures from the graveyard and or from the battlefield and or graveyards. When it leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to their owner's hands. So, again, it's kind of similar to this guy. A little bit more expensive, but I can target my stuff again. I can target my stuff. My recursion is kind of built on this. So it enters, and I'm like, okay, exile, exile, exile. And I'm attacking, getting through. Obviously, these are probably going to do 15 points of damage. I'm getting rid of all their blockers. And then even when those two leave, they're getting them back into the battlefield. It goes back to their hand. So now they're having to recast it again. So it's kind of a hindrance against them. So I think this is actually a pretty decent card in this. Angel of Ruins. It enters, exile up to 2 artifacts and or enchantments. I can plane cycle this one away if I wanted to. It's also 7. This has some more removal. Again, I like to play with the theme thing here. It might get cut because it is 7, but again, everything else is kind of low here. So having these big ones, what do we got? So we only have, so there's a lot of 3, 2, 3, and 4. Then you get a few of these. How many we got there? 7 of those. Obviously, those won't stay that way, but and 112. What is my 12? Oh, that's the Blasphemous Act. That's where my 12 is there. Okay. So for right now, that's staying in there. Angrass Marauders. No counter spells. Get out of here, Renshai. This one seems really sweet too. So if a source, it's 7. Again, the big game winners are 7, like pretty much. If a source you control. So remember, yes, these are expensive, Ramsey. These are expensive to come out. But the cool thing is, if he's already out, they give it haste. So I can cast these, give it haste, boom. They're attacking right away. So these coming in late, it's not waiting a turn and people are seeing these bombs happen. Most likely he's out already when these hit the battlefield. So I'm not as concerned with having a couple of the big... These are, in a way, answers or game winners. So why this one is, if a source you control will deal damage to a player, permanent or player, it deals double that damage to a permanent or player instead. Now, imagine we have 3 of these that now hit. So it's double, double, double. If anything is getting through, and the thing is you're not just thinking that those are the only attackers. This is a creature-based deck. If I have other attackers getting through, I'm killing people. So this should be pretty crazy. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Good at mono ramp. Yeah. You're right, but we have white in here, so I did add some of the white stuff in here. Okay, so one of our new Kamigawa ones. This is pretty sweet. So legendary. Yes, it is legendary. But here's kind of the interesting thing about it. It enters... I attack, the 2 that it makes die. So I don't get the exile effect. Because if I let it get through the attack phase, they get exiled. You don't get that trigger that this does. It needs to die. So the copies that they're making is either look at the top 7 cards of your library, put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mono value 4 or less into the battlefield and put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Or if I have enough creatures out at that point, I'm putting 2, potentially 4 counters on each permanent I control. That's a creature or a vehicle, mainly creatures. That's huge. That's really big in this. But I'd probably most likely be doing the look at the top 7 because I do have a lot of stuff that costs 4 or less. Not in the beginning here, as you're obviously seeing, but as we move our way down, there's a lot less casting cost stuff here. Oh, I guess Blightsteel was my big one. Do I not have Blasphemous? I might. No, I didn't put Blasphemous in here. So Blightsteel is my big 12 casting cost. All right. Archon of Redemption. Kid can't even... Let me get my buttons up. Buttons everywhere. I don't even have... Kid can't even read right there. Okay, so when this or another creature enters the battlefield with flying, enters the battlefield under control, you may gain life equal to that creature's power. So this is I play this. It's 4 life, whatever. Now let's attack with it, right? It creates a 3/4, so I'm gaining 4 life off of that, and another 3/4. So each copy is seeing itself. So 8, 16, 24 life just in those 3 when that hits the battlefield or when I attack with that. That's a huge bitch. That is a lot of life right there. I did the morning show bit. That's a huge bitch. But yeah, that's where the life gain started to trickle in a little bit, and that's why the creatures started. Why the life gain, I have a lot that I added in late because I did not go that route in the beginning, and then I was like, oh, I could go life in this, and that could be pretty crazy. So, all right, the other Kamigawa Dragon, this one is giving you either treasures, 3 treasures. You can get 6 of them, or you can get 4 cards that you can play until your next turn. Armageddon against me. You're a douchebag. All right, so that's just really good. It's 4. That's fantastic for this. It's not much at all. This is a really good card. All right, so one of the life gainers from when creatures enter the battlefield. I mean, I'm not going to attack with this one, but I could. But with me playing myriad creatures, you're going to gain a lot of life. I have a lot of those in here, so these are my early drops. The Gaggle Master sounds bad, but you gain 2 life for each creature you control with flying. I believe. How many? I don't know if I can see flyers per se in this. I bet you there is a way I can search for that. Let's see. Is there... I'm not going to waste my time with that right now, but there is a lot of flyers because I'm adding evasion stuff in here. That helps with evasion, I should say, with my creatures attacking through. 5 for that. It could be good. I mean, because it creates the 2... you're gaining 2, 4, 6, 12 life off of that if you're attacking with these. Yeah, certain EDH games, but yeah, no, for sure. I added it in. That's what I said. I added it in late to see how this was going to go if I wanted to do life gain stuff. It might help with the not being worried about people attacking me. And so with me playing a lot of creatures and having life, it could be a big bonus with this, but we'll see. Balefire Dragon. Obvious. It's big. It does damage. It kills shit. Why not have 3 of them out? Very good. Battle Angels of Tyr. Now, this is a fantastic card because it has Myriad on it. I don't even have to worry about my commander giving the Myriad stuff, but it's when these deal combat damage to a player. If that player has the most cards, you draw a card. If that player has, the most land, and create a treasure token for if they have more land. And if they have the most life, you gain 3 life. So hopefully you're getting chunks of these each time that this hits. And it's only 4 for this creature. It's pretty insane with with what it's doing there. All right, Betty Brax. We're making tokens. We're going to be drawing cards off this. This is just obvious. Convoke. Awesome. Blightsteel. Let's do that as one of our Day of Dragons. Our game winner that's built on a stick. Let's attack everybody with one of these. And yeah, win the game. That'd be fun right there in that. This one I did because it doesn't have the tap ability. It has the tap 1. So there's more of my removal. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. So now I have 2 things that I can destroy, artifacts and enchantments. There's more as we go along, but that's why this one's in there. It's an early game play. I know it's not a whole deck. What are you just saying? It's all amazing. It's a win con deck is what it is. Charming Prince. So making multiples of these, I can gain more life. I can scry. 2 scry is kind of like drawing 1 whole card. Otherwise, you can blink something. So I got a lot of ETB stuff, like I mentioned before. So this one could be good early, late game, and that's the thing with these lower casting cost ones. I'm casting them early. I'm not waiting. I'm getting these out and taking advantage of what the bonuses they're giving me. So I think Charming Prince will, that's one of the things here. Same with this one. Circuit Mender. We're entering the battlefield, drawing 2 life. When it leaves the battlefield, draw a card. So exiling is leaving the battlefield. So I'm attacking with this. The others, they're leaving. After my attack, I'm drawing a card for each one that leaves. So it doesn't matter if it dies or if it gets exiled, it's leaving the battlefield. Great. This one, is this the pirate one? Oh, this one seems so much fun. Like so much fun. So you have 5. And this one didn't seem good before. It seems amazing with Myriad. Because it's whenever this or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap it. Until end of turn, it gains haste and becomes a pirate in addition to its other types. The cool part is, so you have this out. Let's say you cast it. Let's say your Duke is already out. You cast it, you take a creature. Now you go, Duke's going, all right, that guy's going to gain haste and Myriad. I attack with it. It makes 2 more copies. Those 2 more copies come in. They are pirates. So let's see if I'm getting this right. So they're each seeing each other. So we're going to grab 3. Wait, no. When this enters and other pirates enter. So the first one that's in play is going to see the other 2. So it's going to grab 2 more creatures. Then the other 2 that are entering are going to grab 2 more creatures. So we're going to grab 6 plus the 1 if you played it that turn, potentially 7 creatures like from your opponents. You won't be able to attack with them, but they're open. So it's pretty good. It's going to get you through and your creatures aren't going to die. So that's kind of the fun part. The one thing I don't think I added a ton in here is a lot of sack triggers, which that might get added in later because I don't have a lot of the stealing. I started to look at that angle. So that's what happens when I'm building decks is I'll come across a card like this and I'm like, oh, I like that idea. Let's see how many more there are. And so I start going down the rabbit hole and there really wasn't that many that were that great. I think there was maybe like 4 or 5 that I would actually think about playing. And that's what happened with the life gain too, is I started looking at some of the life gain stuff and I was like, oh man, this can really gain me a lot of life off of one swing with it. And if I'm doing that multiple turns, I'm going to be, it's going to help in the long run. So that's why the life gain started coming into it. So, about to say, where is your sack? Yeah, I know that's the only problem is I think this is the only one I have with Molten. I do gain control of it. So I have 2. I think there's only 2 in here. Oh, this was 1, 2, 3. So you can see I started hitting up the ones that I liked. And if I feel like it later, we do need the Myriad sack engine. So I might add that in a little bit later. Man, my cold is really kicking in. It isn't COVID. I did test for COVID, but I got it from the kids. I did do the Sundial Infinite, but okay, let's keep moving because otherwise I'm going to be dead by the time we're done with this. All right. We're there. Combustible Gear Hulk. Always remember, imagine making 3 of these or 2 of these at once. Like seeing 2 of these, you're picking on a player. Let's just do that. My Duke is already out, especially for the 6 or lower casting cost stuff. Let's say Duke is, or no, the other way around. 6 or higher, Duke is already out. You're playing this, getting boom, boom, boom. So you can pick on one player with this and go, all right, all 3 of them, I'm picking you. Do you want me to draw these 3 cards, or do you want me to mill them and you take damage to that? That could really wreck somebody's day with this. Daxos, whenever another creature enters the battlefield or dies, you're not going to get the death trigger as often because the sacking the Myriad is exile, so you won't get that, but it's an ETB of gaining life. Finally, Devilish Valet has a decent use. It's whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, its power is doubled. I don't think this is actually good enough. Well, trample. Okay. So I was trying to work this out. It enters. You make the copy and the copy, right? You're making the 2. So that one enters whenever another enters the battlefield. Okay. So then the original devil turns into a 2/3, and the other one enters, so it's a 4/3. That one enters, so yeah, that one's too much. There isn't much. I don't like that one. Boop. Just like that, it's gone. Dockside, yes. Dockside is good. This guy's fun. I like this one a lot, actually. When it comes into play, if you control 2 or more mountains, destroy target artifact. If you control 2 or more planes, you may destroy up to 1 enchantment. So yeah, it comes in. I destroy stuff. And then let's say later, you know, I play Duke and I'm like, oh, there's more problematic stuff in there. Let's myriad this guy, attack, and I control, or I can destroy up to 4 things, 2 and 2. Some problematic stuff. So now we have 3 things that are removing artifacts and enchantments. Always good. Duplicant is always good. Making more copies of that. Destroys a non-token creature, so that's some of our removal. Esper Sentinel and plain white. Yes, you have to have it in there. Not going to make copies of it because that won't make sense, but this is just good to have in there. Fanatic of Mogus. So at the very least, if you're doing this, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the ones coming in are going to do 4 damage to each opponent to the devotion. I don't think that's good enough to keep in here. I mean, I'm assuming I'm having more, but I don't think it's good enough to keep in there. All right, Feldon of the Third Path. So this is a little bit of recursion stuff. Stuff that's already in your graveyard. Bring it back as a token, and then you myriad it, make them all tokens, and then do it all over. So this is just good to have your recursion stuff and be able to play that ETB stuff again. So this one, I remember liking this one too. Oh, so here's another stealing guy. So when it enters the battlefield, gain control of 1 target creature you don't control until end of turn. Untap it, it gains haste and myriad until end of turn. So how did I think of this? Whenever it attacks, so you're gonna miss if you're copying this guy to do it. Gain control of target creature you don't control. It's not gonna help you as much because you're making the myriads. They will take control of stuff, so they'll take stuff away, but they're not gonna gain myriad because you're already past that point. So I don't know if I like this one as much as I was originally thinking. Maybe. What are we at? We're at 60. Let's at least move down to the sideboard because I do like the idea of that. When it enters the battlefield, exile target permanent. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning and end step. There's our flicker on some ETB stuff. And if I want to, I can make copies and flicker stuff and pop it and all that stuff. Or it opens it up on other people. If they're having things that they have to block, I can make it so they don't. Fury. So imagine making multiples of this. You're able to do up to 12 points of damage, I guess, when it first hits. Cut. You think I should? Well, yeah, I cut that other one. Yeah. Sorry, I moved on a little bit. Geist Honored Monk. So this one is, it's equal to the number of creatures it control. When it enters, create 2 spirits. So ideally you're making 6, I guess. I don't think I like that one as much. I was thinking flying. Yeah, we're getting rid of that. That one was a late add too. I don't think I like the Char Whirler either. Each player controls. Yeah, we're not going to do that one either. Goblin Goliath. When it enters, create a number of goblin tokens equal to the number of opponents you have. So potentially 3. And if you have multiples of those, 3, 6, 9. If a source would deal damage to an opponent this turn, it deals double that damage. That could be good. Maybe. Maybe. We won't cut that one yet. I think I'm going to get rid of Ketra because it's all about casting the spells, which I will be doing, but there is nothing else that I really want to use this for. Doesn't have the ETB stuff, so it doesn't really fit with what we're doing there. When this enters, 2 life for each other creature you control. So it's not just flyers like the other one I cut earlier. So this one could get pretty bananas because you have the 1. So we have our commander out. We have the 1. We make the 2 copies. 2, 4, 6. So 12 potentially just with those if that's all the creatures you have. I mean, that's not crazy, but 6 isn't terrible for how much that does. I dig it, I think. It might get cut later. We'll keep moving, though. Goldspan Dragon. Why not have 3 of them? Whenever it attacks, it becomes a target of a spell. Well, you'll miss the attack trigger. You will miss the attack trigger because it's tapped and attacking. Goldspan, I'm sorry, but you gotta go, buddy, because that is only... Wait. Was it ETB? Shoot. I think it was ETB too, wasn't it? Goldspan. So I was like, there's got to be a reason why I kept him in there. Let's check it out again. Attacks or becomes a... No, yeah, it's targeted spell. So... Yeah, you gotta get rid of him. Okay. Healer of the Pride. So 2 enters battlefield under your control. Whenever another creature enters battlefield under your other battlefield under control, gain 2 life. So it's a little bit higher casting cost than the other guys I'm gaining life off of. But now you're gaining 2 life. I can dig it. Hellkite Tyrant. Let's steal everybody's artifacts. Yes, please. Inferno Titan. Let's do 3 damage, 3 damage, and 3 damage. Because it's going to enter. You're going to get the attack trigger off the original one, and you're going to get the ETB off the others. So that's still really good. All right. This one I think is pretty decent. When it enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, reveal an artifact from among them, and then put that in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Whenever 1 or more artifacts enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on this. This ability only triggers once each turn. Oh, that ability. Okay, so but when it enters, you can look at the top 4 and take an artifact. How many artifacts are you playing with? So far, 26. 26. I don't know if that's enough. Because this is putting it into your hand as well. Yep, we're getting rid of it. If it was going into the battlefield, then we're different there. Inspiring Overseer. I wish we had more of these because this is exactly what I want to do. Comes into play, gain a life, draw a card. Let's do that 3 times. I dig it. Ronus makes it so your creatures have menace, so we get a little bit of evasion and prevents them from dying because it prevents all combat damage dealt to them on my attacking creatures. Dig that. This is very good in this. I didn't realize it was $18. It's crazy. Some of those gods are way up there. All right, Jaxus. This seemed bad, but I think it's kind of fun because you can discard, like if you have something in play, you're able to, let's see, discard, create a token. Okay, discard a card, create a token that's a copy of another target creature you control. It gains when it dies, draw a card, sacrifice, blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, but I'm not positive. Yeah, but it won't work because it's dying now that I'm like thinking about it. But if I were to... Nope, that won't work either. But it will copy my other stuff. I was thinking legendary if I chose a legendary creature and then did the myriad thing. But if I chose a legendary creature, the token copy coming in would have to be sacrificed. I'd get to draw a card off of it. But is it worth... I guess I got to figure out how many legendary stuff I have out there. I'll come back to that. Karmic Guide. So enters the battlefield. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. That can be bananas, especially if you've discarded things with this. If you discarded a creature that's too much, well, now you just bring it directly into play because it costs 0. And let's myriad this and let's get more stuff. So I like that in here for sure. Knight of the White Orchid. So we're going to go get some more lands. If other people have more land than you, let's do it multiple times. This one's also a land grabber. Grabs a plane. Not a basic. It's a plains card. I believe there's also a plains card. So you can grab your duels off of these. Yeah. I'm going to have to get some more sack outlets in here. I think that'll be my add-in after going through this all. Ramsey. Definitely agree with you on that. Lena, Selfless Champion. When it enters battlefield, a 1/1 soldier token for each non-token creature control. Creature control with power less than Lena are indestructible. That's too much. Our little doggers gets us a basic plains for 2. Like these guys here. Oh, that's 4. Put on the battlefield tapped, and this is into your hand. Oh, it's onto the battlefield. So this one's a little more expensive. I'm keeping these in. These are part of my ramp I need for white, obviously. Primordial. When it enters, for each opponent, exile 1 target creature that player controls. For 7, is that Is that just too much? It enters, exile a creature. They gain life. I attack with it. Exile, exile. They gain life. I mean, it's good on the exiling part, but is 7 too much? It might be. I think it might be. We're moving it. Mentor of the Meek. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under control, you may pay 1. If you do, draw a card. So, 2 or less. I had quite a few of them, I thought. 2. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. We'll keep him in here for now. He may get cut later once we start whittling down the list of it a little bit. Meteor Golem, destroy a non-land permanent. Yes. This is... Yeah, the other one was expensive, but this is a non-land permanent. It's not just a creature. So we have answers to our artifacts, to our enchantments, to our land... not lands. Creatures. Planeswalkers, every answer except for land. So I dig that in here. This one is just too much. It's 7 stealing, but I put it in because it was stealing. I started working that theme. Mirror Battlesphere. This one seems very interesting. You play it. This is always just a good card. It's in my, and Ramsey, I'm sure it's in yours as well. Brutaclad deck, because you're making the mirrors and their tokens and all that fun stuff. So imagine this guy hits. We create the 4 mirrors. We attack with him. We create 2 more, 4 mirrors, 4 mirrors. So now we have a total of 12 mirrors out. And then when it attacks, you may tap up to X. Is attacking. You may tap it if you control. I don't think I can tap the 4 that come in. Tapped in attacking. Attack. So I can really only tap the first 4. And then it'll deal damage to target player or planeswalker in attacking. But on the second turn, it could do some stuff. Maybe. Ramsey, are you saying cutting Mirror Battlesphere? Because I can see that too. You're saying 7. It is very expensive to come out. I'll move on and see what you say after that. Nadar, Selfless Paladin. Enters or attacks. Adventures into the dungeon. So yes, it is a legendary. But is it worth our dungeons? I'm trying to think of my dungeon cards. Because if you create the other 2, then you're moving along in the dungeon. Is there enough good stuff in the dungeons? I'm going to have to check that later. Because I liked the other one. You did in your brew. You did in your brew. Okay, you cut it there. I'll put it on the sideboard for now. The other one, the new one off of the going into the Undercity, I like the bonuses on that are so much better than going into the dungeon, venturing into the dungeon. So there's another one in here that has that. Is it this guy? No, not that guy. So I got to check out the dungeon stuff again to see what, because it enters the battlefield. So I'll get a trigger off of that. Then it attacks. I get a trigger off of that. It makes the copies. I get 4 triggers. Is it worth keeping this in by moving through a dungeon 4 spots in 1 attack? It might be. Let's just Google search it. Come on, meow. What do we got? Mind Flayer Precon. What is it? You can see some of my real estate stuff is on there. I had to do my courses and stuff like that today. Let's see. Venture into... Oh, there we go. I just want to know what we got here. Okay. So we had 2 of them, right? Was it 2 or 3 of them? So this one is gain a life, scry 1. Let's see where we move with 4 spots. Gain a life, scry 1. Create a treasure token and scry 2. I mean, that's pretty good in 1 attack. If you played him that turn, you're gaining a life, you're scrying 1, you're getting into treasure token and scrying 2. Then if you're able to do it again next turn, getting card advantage, scrying 3, and well, then you'd only move 3 spots because then you're just attacking 1, 2, 3. So you go 1, 2. Oh, that does get you all the way through. So you'd be here, boom, boom, scry 3, draw 3 cards, reveal them. You may cast 1 of them without paying a mana cost. That might be worth it. Like 2 attacks with him and Myriad wherever he went. That might be worth it to me. Other creatures you control go 1/1. That part is pointless, but the other stuff might be actually worth it for this. All right, Opportunistic Dragon. Choose a human or an artifact an opponent controls for as long as it remains on the battlefield. Gain control of that permanent. Loses all abilities and can. You gain control of it though. As long as okay, we'll leave this in for now because if I get some sack stuff put in here later, and which I should because I have Myriad, I need to take advantage of my stuff being sacked. And any suggestions of sack stuff, I got to remember, I got to even look at it, is much appreciated. All right, Palace Jailer. When it enters, become the Monarch. When it enters battlefield, exile a creature opponent controls until an opponent becomes a Monarch. So this, even if it dies, exile until, let's see, exile target creature and opponent controls. Again, when the copies die, they still don't get it until they become the Monarch. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Because it should say, we'll just do it really quick, Palace Jailer. Let's check our... Because it would say that it's either until it leaves the battlefield, is there rulings on it? Once the effect makes one player Monarch in the game, whatever. Being the Monarch, if you're not the Monarch, I want to see when it dies. Exiled, it ceases to exist. It won't return to the... If a creature token is... Oh, so you can get rid of tokens is what it's saying there. Equipment, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we know that. Okay, here we go. Leaving the battlefield won't cause the exiled creature to return. Exactly what it's saying. Game will continue. Let's watch it. Yeah. Until the opponent becomes a Monarch. So it's gaining basically that almost. So this is... You're playing it. Exile creature. Attack. Create 2 more. Exile another creature. Even though that those are gone, I'm the Monarch. I'm drawing at the end of my turn. So it's almost like a draw built in on this. 1 draw. And then they can't get it until they get rid of my Monarch. So they have to attack with something else. But I've gotten rid of some of their stuff. So this seems pretty sweet. Pilgrim's Eye. Let's go get land. Like it. Plundering Barbarian. Destroying an artifact or creating treasure tokens. Dig that as well. Port Raiser. When it deals combat damage, untap each creature control. After this combat phase, there's an additional one. Port Raiser can't attack a player it has already attacked. So here's kind of the interesting thing with this is that let's say I attack player 1 and it creates the 2 copies. If one of those other copies hits, and I'm pretty sure this is how it works. I'll have to look into this a little bit more or you guys can correct me. That one hits, they will untap each creature I control. That one, the initial one that I attacked with, can still attack, but just not that same player. Now I go after somebody else. If it makes the copies again, that same one that hit player 4 hits again, they untap. So it goes until I've gone through all 3 of the players. Because it's talking about this specific Port Raiser. I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. And they get all the stuff back. Yes. Yeah. Only one of them need to become the Monarch. Yeah. Yep. I know. But it's cool. You're causing work for removing or hindering things, and we have multiple things of doing that. So what this deck is almost kind of looking like is there's a lot of hindering their creature base. So it should be interesting with that. All right. Priest of the Ancient Lore. Love this. It's like the other one. Gain a life, draw a card. Gain a life, draw a card. Professional Facebreaker, amazing card. Pick these up while you can, while they're cheap, because it's amazing. But whenever one or more creatures you control, you create a treasure tokens. You can sacrifice a token to exile a top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So that's a fun card. It's really good in treasure decks, and treasure's just all over. Perforos, we're creating tokens. We'll do 2 damage to everybody, of course. Dig it. Recruiter of the Guard. We're going to go search for stuff when my other ones enter the battlefield. So it's kind of a little bit of card draw. It is. You're playing it, you're searching, and then you're attacking and going to grab more stuff to put into your hand. So that's I think I have a couple effects in here of doing that. Restoration Angel. You may exile target non-angel creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. So we got some blink stuff happening. So that'll be fun with that guy. Let's see. Righteous Valkyrie. Whenever an angel or cleric enters the battlefield under control, gain life equal to that creature's toughness. As long as you have 7 or more life to your starting total, creatures you control get 2/2. So this guy, whenever another angel, so we're making our copies. The copies come in. We're going to gain 4, 8. Let's see. We'll gain 4, 8, 4, 8. So we'll 16 life off of the 3 for a 3-drop. And if my life is high, so this is part of that life gain package in here, they'd actually be 2/2 more for each one. So we're talking about 2, 4, 6. So they'd be 10s. So let's redo that. How do we do this? Okay. This would be in play. So we get the 1. It enters. We're going to gain 10, 20 life. The other one enters. We're going to gain 10. So we're gaining 30 life off of that. Whenever another you gain life, you go to the yep. So 10, 20, 30 life off of the 3. If you have more than 7 life that you're starting. Seems pretty good. And even early on, like it's a 3-drop 2/4. Like, I don't know. It seems pretty decent there. Rose Room Treasure. This seems fun here too. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a treasure token. So this is just, you don't need to be making him Myriad. You're making other things Myriad, and you get to make treasure tokens. If this is the first or second time this ability is resolved, you get the treasure. Otherwise, you may pay X when you do, it can deal X damage to any target. So it's a little bit of removal built in, and you don't have to do anything with him. You definitely can, because if you made more of these, you would get treasure. So let's back that up a little bit. You attack with Rose Room Treasure. We would create 2 copies. Whenever another enters the battlefield. So the 2 entering is going to create. Okay, whenever another is going to create a treasure token. It's first or second time it's resolved. So you're going to create 1. So they're all gonna happen at the same time. Fuck, how does that work? This is where I might get, this is confusing as shit sometimes these will be. Because it's going to resolve more than that. So you're only going to get the treasure token the first 2 that resolve. And then after that, let's say that, so that's probably why you wouldn't attack with this one. But after that, the other that enters, the other 2, you would get 2 triggers if you wanted to pay X and deal damage to a target. That seems pretty good. I think it's a really good card. I picked up a few of these for spec-wise. I think this is actually a really decent one. There was a lot of good stuff in the Commander Legend stuff. All right, so 3-drop, enters battlefield, draw. Just more draw, late game stuff. This is awesome. We're scrying. It counts for treasure tokens as well. So this is good. You're scrying, and then if it's your second time, you're drawing. Amazing. So this one, okay, 6. Yes, 6 for 5/5. That's all right. That was Archangel status, except no vigilance. But it enters the battlefield with 2 shield counters on it. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen. Okay. So we have the 2 shield counters. Now we attack with 2 more, right? They enter the battlefield. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, so they're entering the battlefield, they each have 2 shield counters on them. I am going to remove a counter from each one of those. Let's see, whenever another enters the battlefield. Okay, whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks. So we're going to get 2 triggers. So we're going to get 2 draws off of that and 2 more creatures off of that. And they still have a shield counter on them. And you still leave the shield counter on the original one that is attacking. So it's kind of its safety a little bit. You keep that alive. So this seems fun. I like it a lot. Skyclave Apparition. This is nice removal. Enters the battlefield. Exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent, not just creature, you don't control with convert a mana cost 4 or less. It's gone because what it's doing is when this leaves the battlefield, the exiled creature card's owner creates an XX blue illusion where it's X is its converted mana cost. So you're exiling it. You're getting rid of a non-land permanent. So this is our creature. This is our enchantment. This is our artifact. This is our planeswalker. Although planeswalkers are typically a little higher than that. But we have lots of removal. That multiple removals are going to be pretty nice with this. Okay, Sky Scanner. We're drawing a card. Evasion. Very nice. Solemn Simulacrum. Obviously, we won't get the death trigger, but we will get the land trigger, which is always nice. If you can, when I add in the sacking, which I will do it between this. So this is really just kind of going through the whole list here, kind of more of a summary tonight, just because of being under the weather and stuff. So when I add that in for the next time, add in more sack engines, you can sacrifice those and draw cards off of that, which we definitely got to do. Solitude. So we got some more removal, exile target creature, and why not do it with 3 of them? Let's exile. If I wanted to, I could exile a white card from my hand to play this. Although get the evoke, so it actually wouldn't stay in play, and you wouldn't be able to do anything. But you could use it as a removal spell late in the game. Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant. We're gaining life off of those. Like this guy again, although this is 5. Yeah, I'm still on creatures. I told you there's 90 creatures. Did you leave and come back, Runshy? Gain a life and... Oh, no. This isn't draw. There's gain a life for each other creature. No, that one's going. That's too much. This doggo is going to draw me cards. Sun Titan, we got more recursion. Let's see. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield. So we're getting a little bit of that Perforos engine to this. No, like I said, I'm not feeling the greatest. Like I wasn't even sure I was going to jump on tonight. So I'm basically just going to be going through what the deck idea is. I do want to, like Zero said, I do need to add in some more sack stuff. So between videos, I'm going to add in probably 10 to 15 cards for sack engine stuff. And then we'll go through everything. It'll go quicker next time that we've seen all these cards. So that's where we'll go with next time. But okay, so we're adding kind of another effect is Perforos, Terror of the Peaks. Yeah, I know it's taking a while, especially with how many cards I had in there. Thundermaw enters the battlefield. It deals 1 damage to each creature with flying. Oh, so it will hinder them because they'll tap those creatures. That might get out of there. We might get rid of that. We'll see. When this enters, you go target creature. Whenever I go to creature, whatever. That part doesn't matter, but we're goading stuff. We enter. They're not blocking. I don't know if I like that one as much. We're going to get rid of that. I don't think that one is good there. Here we go. Take the initiative. I think the initiative is better than going into the dungeon. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, untap a creature you control. So that just is happening. And if you completed a dungeon, untap all your creatures you control. So that's kind of nice. Well, let's check out the initiative. So what is it? Let's Google that. Take the initiative. Let's see what our card is showing here. Okay, so the Undercity. What do we got going on? Take the initiative when it enters. So we're just getting on the ETB. So let's say we're moving 3 spots. I don't know if you guys can see that very well because I should be able to. So secret entrance. Search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand. That's your first step. So you cast it, you're going to get a land, put it in your hand. Now we move 2 more steps. We can go either scry 2 or go to creature, scry 2, and get a treasure. I think that's pretty decent for having cards enter. Then the next turn, we will get through this. So you can either get a skeleton. Let's see if we goaded or a player loses life. You could draw if we went this route. So instead of treasure, we could goad something. And then the next turn we're drawing. And then the last one is reveal 10 cards in your library. Put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield with 3/1/1 counters on it. It gains hexproof until your next turn, then shuffle. That seems pretty decent to keep that in there for a 3-drop. So I like that. When it enters the battlefield, you're getting token or treasure. Dig that too. Winota. Have not played this yet, and I know it's broken in other stuff, but I think it should be kind of fun with this because if let's see, whenever a creature you control whenever a non-human creature you control attacks, look at the top 6 cards of your library. So if I did anything else, this is out. This is not my attacking creature in this case. I'm attacking with this goblin, right? Well, then I'm revealing, let's see, reveal a human card. Wait, if you put a human creature card from among them onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, it gains indestructible and a turn, put the rest of the cards. So I attack with my goblin here. We create 2 more. Oh, shoot. No, because you don't get the attacks. Creatures you control, whenever a non-human creature you control attacks. So it's tapped and attacking. So we're not getting that. Winota, you are not going to work how I was intending you to work. So you are gone. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, deals 1 damage to each opponent. So we're continuing a little bit with our Perforos idea. Yossi, Morningstar. So again, I would copy this one. It creates the 2 copies. They die unless I do the sacking stuff, but no, they're going to die instantly. I am going to tap 5 target permanents that player controls, and they can't untap them until the next untap step. So I can keep doing this. This can lock some people down with that. All right, Zealous Conscripts can control the target permanent until that untap that permanent, gains haste until end of turn. Maybe. I mean, that seems okay, but we need to figure out our sack stuff. All right, let's move into, finally, we're out of the creatures. The 90 creatures we are done with. What did we end up with? We cut 16. That's not bad. We're going to cut a lot more as we go on here. I just wanted to kind of go through the stuff and show you what is possible with stuff. Jessica's Will, yeah. We might not need this because there might be enough draw in here, but Jessica's Will is always good. Added a lot of indestructible stuff. Surprise indestructible, because I have a lot of creatures attacking that might get killed. Like, ideally, you're going to attack the person that can't block, or you have evasion over. But a lot of cases, you're not going to have that. And sometimes you're going to want, some of those you don't care. I don't care if Wily Goblin dies. But other cases, like, who would I want to keep alive? Like, I'd like to keep drawing stuff. I'd like to keep this. So in those cases, you may do some indestructible stuff. Altar of the Brood. Yeah, that could be good, but I don't like just throwing Altar of the Brood in just because of the mill part of it. I have a mill deck for Altar of the Brood. So it doesn't fit with what I'm doing here, and yeah, it might screw up people's game plans a little bit. You're milling stuff, but in the long scheme of things, it's not doing what the deck is intending to do. What the idea of this is, I'm trying to take control of everything, creatures or whatever, and get through and smash face. So Altar is just going to just add too much. I don't think it has a spot in this necessarily. I like the idea because, like you're saying, is making the tokens. But I think it'd be a waste of spot in this. Chroma's Will, Boros Charm, Deflecting Swat. I like playing stuff to deflect stuff. Eerie Interlude. It's exile any number of target creatures you control. So that's always nice. I can exile the ones that I want, not just everything, because I do have Ghostway. This one's kind of on the fence, because I have to exile each creature I control. Then I return them to play under my control at the end of turn. So I can't pick and choose. You're going to lose tokens this way because they will be removed. Same with Eerie. So you're going to want to pick the ones that are going to be coming back. But Affirmate, this has the rebound. I don't know if I like it because it targets one, but it probably works because if I'm attacking with the original one, I want to protect that one and have it come back. And then I get another ETB. I kind of dig it. Flawless Maneuvers, we're getting Indestructible. More Indestructible. Teferi's Protection, obviously, we're playing white. Summer's End, exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control at the beginning of your next end stop. Return each creature to the battlefield under its owner's control. Each of them gets an additional 1/1 counter. Whatever planeswalker gets that. This may take the place of that. I should look here. What's my blueprint stuff here? I can't even see. I can't even see what I have there. I have to pull that up later. Well, I could pull it up here. We're not getting to that point yet. We'll come back to that later. But this might be enough to get rid of Ghostway. Populate. So I am making tokens. Create your creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. It's nice. So this one's kind of fun. So this is off the Commander Legend, not Commander Legends. Or yeah, it is Commander Legends. Exile all non-token creatures you control, then roll a d20. If you get 1 through 9, return those to the battlefield under your control under owner's control to begin the next end step. So you can save your stuff, or if you're trying to get more ETB effects. If you roll a 10 or to 20, return those cards to the battlefield under your control. Then exile them again. Return those cards to the battlefield under control at the beginning of the next end step. So you're double ETB. This is pretty sick. So it's like, oh, I'm killing all your creatures. Well, actually, I am going to exile them and at least get 1 ETB effect off of it and save my creatures, but I might get 2. So this ends up going a huge swing with these. I like the flicker effects and not the ones that immediately come back because it saves you from board wipes or from bouncing cards to people's hands with Cyclonic Rift. So I like these a lot. We got Heliod's Intervention, so we got some more removal. And I guess some life in there. Most likely you're using the removal. This is just a fantastic card at instant speed. You just hit so much stuff. Grand Crescendo, this one we're adding creatures and indestructible like this one of the newer cards. And then we get into our artifacts. Altar of Dementia, so this was one of my sack outlets. Taking their stuff, sacking it, or my Myriad stuff, sacking it. Arcane Signet, Blade of Selves, we have Myriad on that. Very nice. Chromatic Lantern, Conjurer's Closet, so a flicker. Get in the ETB stuff. Cursed Mirror, so it's nice because I could have it come in as a copy of something that has ETB. Like if I did Dockside, it comes in as what Dockside's ETB effect is. Helm of the Host, yeah, it'd be nice to have multiples of my commander or any of these other ETB things. This is probably one of the best spots Helm of the Host can go because it's not only just for my commander, it's for almost every creature I'm playing in this deck. Idol of Oblivion, I'm making tokens on my turn, and all I have to do is tap and draw. So it's going to happen. First time I'm playing Jeweled Lotus. It might not stay in here, but because my commander's 6, that's why I put it in there. We'll see if it makes it to the end. Panharmonicon, let's get double triggers on all this stuff. Yeah, why not? Soul Ring, Sundial the Infinite. We will keep our tokens that we were supposed to sacrifice. That's the fun part of that. Sunforger I've been using a lot more because it's a nice, and I used it with Akiri the other night. It's a nice protection to be able to go find stuff in your deck. If you don't play a lot of counter spells, if you don't play tutors, this is a way to search for that answer immediately to protect your stuff. Like that's my biggest thing is when I build these decks, I want to have removal in there and I want to have protection on there. But not having tutors, it's hard for me to go find all these all the time. This at least is allowing me to, if I have this out, I attach it to my creature and I have all of these at my disposal. Every single one of these cards are instants. Instant. Yeah, this is the instant spot. I can cast everyone, even this one, not this one so much, everyone but this one, and protect my stuff. So I'm not going to swap Strionic Resonator. No, you notice it's not in here. Sword of Hearth and Home. This was just to add more, getting my land ramp in there. I don't know if that'll stay in there necessarily. Thought Vessel, we got some Mono Rocks. All right, then we get into... it could be considered... Yeah, Renshai could be like... It's not a tutor, like I mentioned this week. It doesn't have anywhere in the name tutor. But when you're fitting it in and using... Like, you have to find ways to be able to protect yourself. If I'm putting these stipulations on myself... I don't have to. I can say, fuck it, I'm going to do tutors like as everybody else. But it makes the games more fun. But making a stipulation on there, having this on there makes it so I have these available. And that's the main thing of... If I were to play counter spells, honestly, I wish I could just say I want counter spells that say there are a couple of them, but it's just protecting your like non-creature spells targeting your commander or your stuff, because that's how I like to play. I don't like to like stop people from playing their stuff. I want to stop people from hitting my shit. And so that's I guess more of the way I go about stuff. There is some of those counter spells are becoming more and more appealing because of the benefits that you're getting off of adding ramp into it, you know, getting a treasure token or giving them a treasure token, or if you're what's the one that just came out where if you're countering something that's targeting your commander, I think you get the scry too. So Magda's not a tutor. It's a theme deck. Don't even start with me, Renshai. All right, so Anointed Procession. Let's make more tokens, more ETBs. Cathara's Crusade. Those tokens that are coming in are getting bigger, and the stuff that's in play are getting bigger. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Here's the fun thing about this I've been doing lately with this. I've had this out a couple times when I've had... What is the guy that I have that... Oh, no. The fun thing, it's built in on the card. I was trying to think what it is. So Fable the Mirror Breaker. The reason why this is, I mean, it's a good card because all the abilities are, you can use them. But when it flips, let's see if we can get the transform before. You know, it's making the Kiki Jiki thing. More often than not, what I'm doing is making copies of this 2/2 goblin and creating more and more treasure tokens. So it's built in on itself. Once you get 2 turns, you know, you attack with your goblin if you can when you hit the second one. But on your third one, although it's exile and return it to the battlefield, so it will have summoning sickness, I believe it does. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to use the ability the first turn. But then you can tap and make a copy of your goblin and have that attack, and who cares, it's dying. And then you can myriad it, and let's get lots of treasure tokens. So this is going in so many, and I play a lot of red. It's going in so many decks at this point. All right, Goblin Bombardment, Sacrifice. There's some sacrifice stuff. I do have a few in here. So Goblin Bombardment, we're going to sacrifice those tokens afterwards. Impact Tremors, we're continuing with that Perforos idea. Legion of Loyalty. All my creatures have Myriad. Sick. This is a good card. Reconnaissance. So that creature that I attacked with, I still get my Myriad attack with it, but you blocked with it. Now I'm going to untap it and no damage is dealt to it. We're all good there, so we're protecting our creature. Smothering Tithe, obviously. Smuggler's Share, obviously. Sneak Attack is how I'm getting some of these big creatures in. I will make one, tap one, bring one of the huge effers out of my hand, and then what I'm going to do is Myriad them, and they'll all attack, and I'll get more ETB stuff. So it seems pretty sweet. Teleportation Circle, beginning of your end step, exile a target artifact or creature you control, then return it. That might be just too slow because we're getting rid of that right now. Warstorm Surge, things entering, we're doing more damage, and that is it. All right, so we started at what was it? Because I had 90 in here. I probably cut 15 to 20 cards maybe. But I do need to fine tune some things here. So I'm not going to go too much longer because, like I said, I'm sick. Throat is hurting pretty bad getting through this, is reading all this stuff. This is a lot more talking the first part, going through the idea, because you're reading every card, going through every concept. The next video is going to be a lot easier, just cutting stuff down. I will add, let's see, we had how many sack outlets? One. I might do I didn't add any of the altar, like, the altars that give you mana. I'm brain farting. Whatever. I didn't do those because if you're sacking your Myriad guys, you're not getting the mana from that. I don't know if I necessarily am going to go the route of the stealing stuff. We have 1, 2, is that 4, I think, total? 3. I think there's 4 total of stealing their stuff. I mean, it helps when you're creating a bunch of them because then you can get through easier and protect your stuff, your original guy. But getting an advantage off of the sack outlets is something I need to do a little bit more of because we only have, let's count that again. It was 1, 2, I think maybe just the 2. I thought there was more, but maybe I'm wrong. So I might add in, get about maybe 7 or 8 total sack outlets. And yeah, that's probably what I'll do in between videos here, because then I can take advantage of those myriad stuff. So, all right, guys, I got to cut it short here. Like I said, I battling a cold here, so I don't want to be doing this too much longer because I won't have a voice for Friday. Again, check us out Friday. We'll be doing the live cast. We're actually going to go through the top 10 cards we think, and we don't know each other's lists, but we are going through the 10 that we think are the best reprints for Commander in the new Double Masters. So, all right, guys, you guys have a good night, and we'll see you Friday. We'll see you. Thanks for joining. Bye. See ya.